We can just stop with the Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes comparisons. What an embarrassment in Super Bowl 59 last week, and Tom Brady's GOAT status is very much safe. Now, praising the Philadelphia Eagles is something I never like doing. This is how it makes me feel. But credit is due. Jalen Hurts may have been Super Bowl MVP, but the Eagles dominated this game on both sides of the ball from the get-go to give the Chiefs their most embarrassing loss in the Mahomes era. The score and the stats don't tell the whole story, as the Chiefs only did any damage when the game was already way out of reach. Both Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes have a winning record in the Super Bowl, but here's the thing about their losses. When Brady lost in the Super Bowl, his team was never out of it. He also never threw a pick six in the Super Bowl or more than one interception in any Super Bowl. Brady even threw the most passing yards in a single Super Bowl in his last Super Bowl loss. Mahomes can't even say that about the Super Bowls he won, let alone the two that he lost, both of which his team was absolutely demolished in. Mahomes' first Super Bowl loss was to 43-year-old Brady, we can't forget that. Brady may not have been at his best against the Giants in the Super Bowl, but he at least had the lead going into the fourth quarter in both those games, and his defense gave up game-winning drives in both those losses.
If I could turn back time.
The one time Brady's team ever looked out of it, we know what happened. Not only that though, Brady threw the second most passing yards in a single Super Bowl out of the 59 that have been played. Mahomes only has the 12th most passing yards in a single Super Bowl. Last week, Mahomes threw 3 touchdown passes in the Super Bowl and had a higher completion percentage than his first Super Bowl he won, but it just goes to show how stats can be very misleading at times. This all came when it was already too little too late. He should have found a way to do all this while the game was still within reach. When looking at the 6 sacks that the Eagles had on Mahomes, there was one where he held onto the ball too long and a couple where he just walked right into the pressure. One more thing, Mahomes has thrown 2 interceptions in the Super Bowl 3 times. Brady's only done so once, and the one time he did, he also threw 4 touchdown passes and his team beat the Legion of Boom. Still to this day though, Pete Carroll, what were you thinking not running the ball with Marshawn Lynch at the goal line? Or better yet, is Mahomes even better than Joe Montana yet? Montana not only never lost a Super Bowl, he also never threw an interception in the Super Bowl. Mahomes has thrown 2 interceptions 3 times in the Super Bowl. Montana also has 1 more touchdown pass in the Super Bowl for his career than Mahomes in 1 less game, and has more passing yards per game out of the 4 he played in than Mahomes averaged in 5 Super Bowls. Mahomes does have a 50 touchdown pass season and a 41 touchdown pass season on his resume, while Montana has never thrown more than 31. However, Mahomes is playing in a more pass-heavy era, and it is the bigger stage that matters the most, right? It's still totally fair to say Mahomes is a top 3 quarterback of all time, but his GOAT case will not be revived anytime soon after what happened last week. This is the closest any team ever has come to three-peating. The 2004 Patriots were the last team before last year's Chiefs to repeat as Super Bowl champions. The 2005 Patriots may not have reached the Super Bowl, but they sure didn't lose this badly on their way out. Brady's stats in the 2005-06 divisional game may look worse than Mahomes' Super Bowl stats, but again, Mahomes only got his stats that made him look better than how he actually played in garbage time in this year's Super Bowl. It doesn't really matter to me how much closer Mahomes was to three-peating than Brady was, because the goal is to win, not just get to the Super Bowl. As painful as it is to acknowledge, I have to do it. The Eagles defense deserves a lot of credit. Jalen Hurts may have won Super Bowl MVP, but the defense is what really won this game, sacking Mahomes 6 times and intercepting him twice. Mahomes has become the game changer we know him to be with his ability to get outside the pocket and extend plays, but the Eagles did not let him do that in the Super Bowl. Howie Roseman did an amazing job drafting 2 guys in last year's draft that had an immediate impact this year. The Eagles were just fine even after James Bradbury went on IR before the season even started because they drafted Cooper Dejean and Quenyon Mitchell. Roseman also found an absolute gem in Zack Baun in free agency. Baun didn't even start more than 6 games before he came to the Eagles, and in Philly, he became an all-pro first-team member while finishing 5th in Defensive Player of the Year voting. Vic Fangio was also an incredible hire to be the team's defensive coordinator. He's had success before as the 49ers defensive coordinator from 2011 to 14, and then more recently as the Bears defensive coordinator, and this year he was in charge of a defense that went from 3rd in most points given up to 2nd fewest given up this year. In this game, his game plan to not allow Mahomes to get outside the pocket worked to near perfection. As much as the Eagles defense deserves a ton of credit, Mahomes does not get any passes, at least not from me. Brady and Montana have both faced top-notch defenses in their careers. They did not go down nearly as bad in the Super Bowl as Mahomes did. Brady was able to beat the Eagles for his 3rd ring when they had 4 Pro Bowlers and gave up the 2nd fewest points that season. Brady also beat the Legion of Boom for his 4th ring. Or Joe Montana was able to demolish the Broncos, who gave up the fewest points in the NFL that season for his 4th and final ring. Montana also had 5 touchdown passes in that game, something Mahomes has never done in any Super Bowl. The 49ers did get crushed in the 1986-87 divisional game against Lawrence Taylor and my New York Giants, but don't forget, Montana got injured in that game. Even before the Giants handed the 49ers such a brutal loss, Montana already had a career-threatening injury earlier in the year, something Mahomes has never dealt with. Montana was able to win 2 more Super Bowl rings just a couple years after that. I do like this about Mahomes, to be able to hold himself accountable.
I thought our team played really well. I feel like I didn't play to my standard, just with especially the struggles that I had early in the season, and so there's things that I have to get better at, and they kind of showed today on the biggest stage, and so I'm about to find a way this offseason to combat what defenses are doing to me as far as rush lanes and different coverages that they're playing, and that's the beauty of football, is that you never can be satisfied with just coming out there and playing and thinking you're going to have success year in and year out. These defenses are going to continue to get better and better, and so I have to get better, and so I'll take a lot of ownership in that, and I want to hopefully come back and play better football this next season.
He's not blaming anyone but himself, as the leader of the team should be doing. Still, no passes though. Will the door open up for Mahomes to be the GOAT again? Maybe, if he can win 5 more Super Bowls before he retires, but he will probably have to play into his mid-40s like Brady did, and who knows if that's even possible. He can't lose any more Super Bowls now after getting blasted in both the Super Bowls he lost. Mahomes is still a generational talent and the best quarterback of this decade. You can definitely still say he's top 3 all time, just this loss did a lot of damage to his GOAT case. Those are my thoughts on the Super Bowl. One last thing before I end this, I have to ask you guys, who would you say took the bigger L last week? Us Giants fans because of Saquon, the Chiefs, or Drake? This guy says Drake, so at least there's a bright side to everything, right? As painful as it is for us to watch the Eagles win the Super Bowl, especially with Saquon, we weren't the biggest losers. According to this guy, Drake was, but let me know what you think. The halftime show was the only thing I enjoyed about the Super Bowl, but please let me know your thoughts in the comments. I look forward to reading your comments on who took the bigger L or just the game itself. Yeah, please feel free to leave some comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be much appreciated. Please be sure to consider subscribing and turning on notifications. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to the team, and if you're already subscribed, thanks so much for your support as always. Links to my social media are down below for my more immediate reactions to what's going on in the sports world. If you'd like to see my most recent video and the one that YouTube recommends, both are up above. Thank you so much for watching. Congratulations to Eagles fans, as much as it pains me to say, but anyways, I'll catch you next time.